Welcome everyone to another edition of Football 101 on a Thursday night, and you know what we're going to be talking and dealing with. It has to be Champions League. No, we're not going to be talking about Europa, even though a certain team is in action in that championship, but we're going to be dealing with Champions League. Round of 16 is over, Nikolai.
Yeah.
8 teams left, and the draw is going to be held on Friday, but we need to dissect some of these results. Seeing that I'm wearing a United jersey, it has no connection with the fact that it's a Thursday and we may be playing on a Thursday next season.
Well, at least you know we already in Europa League, not like a European Cup. I mean, man, you know that sometimes you think about it. Some teams should realize that, you know, at the end of the group stage, what makes sense sometimes is it going on to the later rounds and then getting annihilated, or if you know continue.
That was Barca tactic.
No, I'm not saying that. That was their tactic. Of course not. You know, all the big teams will want to go on to Champions League because anything can happen, and there's a lot of time between December and when the Champions League play, so a lot of things that could shape up in between that time to go on and try to make a run.
Yeah.
But I mean, Man U out now, out of European competition, but I guess you all could focus on top 4 to try to get back in there next season.
Yeah, I mean, it might sound funny, but then that might actually work in their favour. That's literally no trophies for this season. Yet again, 5 years in a row since the last trophy United has brought in was as you said, the Europa League in 2017 back with Jose. A game against Atletico Madrid, it finished 1 apiece in the first leg. You would think coming to Old Trafford, United needing to score. We went 1-0 down. I wouldn't say against the run-up play because that was Atletico game, you know, just a hit on the counter. But at the same point in time, I mean, me as a United fan, I'll speak on that behalf. I was looking at that game and I was just sure for a fact that we were going to score. It was like seeing 60th minute, reach 70th minute, 80th minute. It was like, no, we're going to score. It'll probably be Ronaldo. We're going to carry the extra time. We'll go through, and it just wasn't there.
That's just the way this Atletico side is built. You can't let them get that 1 goal ahead and try to sit back. I mean, sometimes it works for them, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes this season their defense didn't click. But in that game, Simeone got his tactics correct.
Yep.
I mean, everybody did what they have to do. They sat back and wait, and then they attacked flawlessly whenever they move the ball up in transition.
Koke was on a different level in that game.
Yeah, and so too Rodri and all these other guys, you know, and even the goal scorer, like how he took the goal, and just before that, the play before led with the ball being in the back of the net. So Atletico was showing what they had, and again, it was a tight, solid game, which they thrive on these games.
Yeah.
Simeone don't like to go out and win 3, 4, 5-0. He like to grind out results.
Yeah.
How better to do it than in the theatre of dreams?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it is a theatre of dreams for him in that instance. We saw
Ronaldo ducking and thing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't agree with that with United fans. That's not something you'll ever want to see.
For sure.
I mean, they did say he was a bit tasty, hence the reason they threw some drinks his way. But regardless, Ralph making some, I wouldn't say questionable, but it was really strange coming on to the end. You see him make like all the substitutions. You see Juan Mata coming on. You see him taking off Harry Maguire.
I forgot what Mata was in Manchester.
Exactly. You know, you're looking at a guy that can't even make a Premier League team, but he's in a Champions League round of 16, you know.
Yeah. But I'd say, again, that's where Simeone won the game. I mean, you saw he made, you know, a couple of tactical changes, and Ralph didn't know what to do in terms of when to do what.
Yeah.
He came out and said that before, if Simeone was managing the Man U side over the 2 legs, that they would have go through based on the manager's experience, and I think so too. I really think that some of these ties you saw, the experience of the manager being tested against someone who knows the league and knows the Champions League and has been in and around it for a couple of years. And Simeone has been there, and sad to see that, you know, both Messi and Ronaldo go out at these stages.
Yeah, I mean, it's something of a trend, you could say, you know, and even with last Champions League as well. But as you said, Ronaldo, I just wanted to mention a little bit about him. I mean, this is just me speculating. At the end of the game, the camera actually had a close-up on Ronaldo when the whistle was blown. And I mean, to me, you saw Ronaldo that he was defeated, but it didn't seem. It was something that he accepted. Like he knew that, okay, this is where United is. I mean, there's only so much I can do, and I mean that was kind of telling for me. We saw him play a different role in this game. He was coming very deep for the ball, and I'm not sure if that was a tactic from Rangnick or if that was just frustration on Ronaldo's part, wanting to be a part of the play. But then, if you have Ronaldo in the middle of the field, who is he going to pass that ball to? I mean, yes, you have the likes of Ilanga, but he would really prefer Ronaldo to be in the box.
And speaking about Ilanga, what about that save from Oblak where it's basically his forehead?
Yeah, he just did one place and it was
it goes to show that it's fine moments like these and it's top-class performances where, just your face could block the goal, and that was so important because it ended 1-0.
Yeah.
And it could have ended 1-0 the opposite way if Man U had gotten the goal and sat back and Atletico try and they couldn't get it. But I mean, it is the way how it is now, and kudos to Atletico for pushing through, and kudos to Simeone for getting past this tricky tie. I know they have a fair against Ronaldo too, so getting him out of the competition and onwards. Griezmann had a great game. I must say,
a good defensive game, you would say.
Somebody who's always giving him stick here. It's great to see him actually putting in a performance like that, especially, given so long we didn't see something like that. His defensive work rate again in this game was terrific.
Yeah, definitely. So United bow out of this competition, like I said before, no trophies this season. It looks as though top four is probably the only highlight of this season thus far, and that's even if United can pull through to get that. So we're going to take a short break, and after the break we're going to be talking about the other three matches that took place this past week in the round of 16 of the Champions League. We'll be right back after these messages.
You're watching ACTN, The Voice. ACTN The Voice, your family-friendly station.
All right, welcome back to Football 101. So let's head across to another Champions League tie that took place, Ajax versus Benfica. I mean, before the 90 minutes starts, a lot of people thought Ajax would have been going through with this young, vibrant side, but it wasn't to be, and Benfica actually pulled through.
I mean, before the 180 minutes, you should say, when you saw the tie and knowing how Ajax are in the league and their performances thus far, and their performances in Champions League this season, this was a shocking result, given Benfica not really doing so well in their league right now, but they managed to focus and focus for Champions League, and we talk about that just now when we talk about how teams could shape up and come to life in this tournament and get past the different stages, and there's a cash incentive for every stage that you go on to, so the clubs will be looking towards that and trying to accumulate the most revenue, because at the end of the day clubs need revenue to survive, and Benfica will be looking at it as, hey, we just crossed a bridge and the bank is open up a little bit for us to do different things. But in terms of Ajax, it would be a disappointment for especially Ten Hag, knowing that what he was building and the different projects that he had and how he has his side playing, for him to get knocked out so early. Would he be looking elsewhere? I mean, certain club like Manchester United looking for coaches right now. He would be a good bet and a good buy to come in and start a different era and start a different project with these guys, and he know a lot of talent. So you never know on the style of play and something Manchester United could look at. But in terms of either Poch, because he's knocked out too, so a lot of these coaches that exit the same stage. But you tell me, if a manager exit the stage of the Champions League, would you all want him to say, okay, well, you could build with him to move forward?
I guess yes, the sooner the better. Will be better for any team that brings a manager in. But at the same point in time, I don't think that's what will happen with either of the two, with Ten Hag and Poch. More than likely, maybe conversations could start, but probably maybe not in the light of the media. It might be behind closed doors, you never know. But yeah, I think definitely, well, we all know it's between Poch and Ten Hag. It looks like those are the two main runners. My preference will be Ten Hag. And I guess time will tell. I mean, it was a game that didn't have much in it. Benfica literally had one shot on target, which was the goal. And I think Benfica is probably the team now that the rest of 7 teams would want to draw against.
Sure.
In another tie, we had the old lady Juventus coming up against Villarreal, and that was even a shocker. Villarreal winning this one 3-0. Juventus again bowing out of this tournament. And what does this have to say even for the Italian clubs? You know, this was the last Italian club in the championship. We've seen it time and time again. Yes, the likes of Inter Milan, AC Milan doing well as it pertains to Serie A, but Champions League just...
I mean, you know, shout out Jeremy to come and back up here. Serie A side, but I mean, sides and come on, but you know, Italy would basically they restructured in such a way over the last couple of years that they had squads reaching semi-finals, finals, a lot of other sides there. But now a lot of these sides is trying to focus on actually qualifying for Champions League. So we look at the AC Milan and probably the Inter pushing for the title, but they're still falling short somewhere, and that is reflective in the league itself. You can see that in Champions League that they don't have the quality to push on and go on, or like, I don't know if it's the grit or the teamwork or the passion or just, you know, the hunger for the football again. I mean, like I say, Jeremy had to come on, Serie A fan had to come and back it up, because I don't really, not that I do pay attention since all these big players left again, but
I mean, well, it was a rebuilding stage, I mean, from the likes of when Ronaldo left and stuff, but then you even look at the question, yes, you brought back in Allegri, you brought him back for structure. Should he even be probably on the chopping list as it pertains to a Juventus manager, or do you think it's Allegri, they're definitely going to give him at least another year to make things right?
Yeah, I think they might give him 1 more year to at least steady the ship, see what's going on, see what he can do, start fresh, but why not go out there and try to start afresh with a new squad and build from scratch for Juventus, because all the big names going on the project with Ronaldo left, and they didn't find an identity since. So what they need to do is basically find back an identity for the old lady and move forward, because this losing like this against Villarreal, it's horrible knowing that they are one of the top teams, and Villarreal right now is struggling, not even in the top 4 in Spain.
I mean, if you look at the Juventus, they're 7 points behind the league leaders in Serie A, and the last 3 teams that knocked them out of the Champions League has been Porto, Lyon, and Villarreal. So when you have those 3 teams, those are 3 games you think definitely the old lady should be going through.
Because when you think about a Juventus side, you think about the side like a PSG, a Bayern Munich, that would literally run their league and then be looking to push on to the latter stages of the Champions League. But you can see they're faltering in their league, so that says a lot in itself. And then moving on into Champions League, they have been faltering over the last couple of years. I know that they tried to get Ronaldo to come in and be a savior, but again, they had a lot of problems, and like a lot of Ronaldo fans would show you that he tried his best over there, but it was a sinking ship.
Definitely. So last game we're going to highlight is Lille versus Chelsea. Chelsea coming away victors by this one on an aggregate score of 4-1 over the 2 ties. Chelsea, I must say, with all the drama that's going on in this club from the head, with all the money, with all the sanctions, they have literally kept their ship flowing. And not only flowing, but like 3 points every week in Premier League and as a Champions League.
Credit to Tuchel and the manager, because all that credit definitely goes down to the manager, because he has to, you know, make sure these guys understand that they still have a role to play. They still have to go out there and play the football. That is what makes them them, and that is what they live for. Regardless of anything else outside of the club. You're here now, you get to put on the shirt now, you go out there and play the game, and this is how we play the game, and this is how we go out, and this is how we identify ourselves on the field. And he stuck to it, and they stick to their game plans, and they get their wins. On to the further stages of the Champions League. Again, I'll mention, you know, the financial benefit from that in itself, so the revenue will come straight back to the club itself, knowing that assets are frozen, but it will still add to whatever liquidity. You never know, because this is new coming in. But I'd say, you know, Chelsea would always be there, and they will always push on, and they thrive off of being the underdogs in this tournament. Like knowing that people want to write them off because of all these different things, and yet they would come through.
I think any team would thrive in those kind of circumstances as pertains to being underdogs, not being sanctioned, like how Chelsea are being sanctioned. But even Tuchel, he had a really great game. I mean, 3 points, but even at the end of the game, a reporter had something to tell him that was sort of bad news.
Those quarterfinals, the home leg, will have to be played behind closed doors because of a UEFA ruling tonight. You can't sell tickets, Chelsea, because of the EU sanctions.
Thanks for ruining my evening.
Yeah, so bad news for Chelsea as it pertains to that and their fans. But with all this whole saga with Chelsea, I believe tomorrow is actually the deadline for bids for people to purchase Chelsea. So
I tell David last time I have $1 in my pocket, and I don't know how far I can get my
I don't know how much shares you could get with Chelsea for $1. But again, the big question now, seeing that the round of 16 is done, is the big draw that will take place tomorrow.
Yeah.
So Nikolai, we have 8 teams left in the competition. Let me get some quarterfinal draws that you think you would really like to see.
All right, so I wouldn't mind seeing this Real side go up against a Bayern Munich side, just because, you know, I'd love to see that contest given Benzema versus Lewandowski.
Right, nice.
That's the reason why. Also, the matchups in the middle of the park, and it'll be a good game, a mouth-watering game to watch. And
well, we definitely know City will get Benfica. They always get these easy teams, so that's set in stone there already.
Exactly. I'd also like to see, you know, Liverpool draw a team like, you know, Chelsea, yeah. You know, get one of those English teams playing an English team one time and see how that goes. Yeah. Get that excitement and Atletico is a good side for Manchester City to play. Yeah. To test them and see how they could break a defense. But I mean, City always gets the easy way out, as you were saying, but a good matchup would be, you know, Pep to come back into Spain and see how he could handle the defensive lineup against him.
Yeah, and even Atletico versus Liverpool, I mean, that they have some history in the previous Champions Leagues with Atleti knocking out Liverpool. So Salah and Klopp team may have something to say. So the big draw for that is on Friday morning, so you definitely want to look out for that. So we're going to take another short break, final break for the show, and we'll be back with some Premier League action here. I had some midweek games this week, a big matchup between Arsenal and Liverpool, so we're going to be talking about that after the break.
You're watching ACTN, The Voice. ACTN The Voice, your family-friendly station.
All right, welcome back to Football 101. So for the last segment, Nikolai, let's head back to England. Some big games this midweek in the Premier League. Arsenal versus Liverpool being one of them.
That was a tie that basically separates top 4 and also the title. So it was a mouth-watering game and a juicy game for all fans and those involved.
Yeah, definitely. Final score in that one was 2-1 in favor of Liverpool. Now,
2-0.
Yes, 2-0. Wow, I'm giving Arsenal a whole goal there. 2-0. True. 2-0 in favor of Liverpool. But the game itself, though, Arsenal had, especially the first half, they ran riot on Liverpool. Martinelli literally had Trent in his pocket for that majority of that game. But Liverpool came out in the second half, 10 minutes of great football, 2 goals, Jota, Firmino on the score sheet. And that was the final score there. And it takes Liverpool 1 point behind Manchester City. Like we always said, once Liverpool wins out their games, they will be crowned champions. But Arsenal as well, they were in a really good form. Some great wins for them previously to this matchup. So it's left to be seen what this defeat will do to the Arsenal. Are they going to, bottle it, or are they going to just take back?
I definitely don't think that they would go back to the dressing room a deflated team, knowing how they lost. We always talk about losing, a side must win and lose, but it's how you lose and the type of fight that you go down fighting. And Arsenal did attack this giant, I would say, in the Liverpool side, knowing that their side is a young side. So they basically tested themselves in the first half and push as hard as possible until I guess the legs weren't there no more. But
Right.
to see how far they could go on, kudos to Liverpool. The 2 goals were excellent. It was well taken, and the first goal came off of, we were talking about the save earlier that Alisson made off of, I think it was Saka. That was a great scoring opportunity, but you see how important it is these individual players stand up and then come straight back down to the other side. It was a goalkeeping error from Ramsdale.
Something you don't really see.
Exactly, and kudos to Ramsdale, who's having a terrific season. But
being called up to the England squad as
exactly, so you can't fault him in this situation or put the blame on him. No worries there.
Yeah.
It just it happens.
Yeah.
And for instance, that goes to show the level, and this might be a learning experience for him. And a lot of players in that Arsenal side would take this as a learning experience.
Yeah. So they have 2 games in hand still. Those 2 games in hand are against Chelsea and Tottenham away. You could see the Tottenham-Arsenal game going anyway. Probably the Chelsea game, you would think.
If it comes down to that, Tottenham will bottle it.
Yeah.
They are known to be the bottlers over the 2. And also, like I said, Arsenal form, how Arteta has them playing, the things that they would do and working
Do you think they're going to stick to and they'll get top 4?
It all depends on if they take the 3 points in the Spurs game.
Okay.
Because if they don't, it opens the room for you guys. A certain team. And not saying that Tottenham will still go through if they win against Arsenal, because I already feel like they blew it when they blew it to you all. But in terms of opening the door for Manchester United, I believe that Tottenham game is very important to Arsenal, that derby.
All right, cool. And as it pertains to even the first 2 teams, Liverpool and Manchester City. Manchester City, they have a more or less easy run-in coming on to the end of the season. Their toughest game being the game against Liverpool, and that's on April 10th. You don't want to miss that, because that could literally be the game of the season. But in addition to Liverpool, they have some tough matches. I mean, they have to play United still. They have to play Tottenham, and there's also the Merseyside derby against Everton. So on paper, it looks as though Liverpool probably have the tougher end of the fixtures, but the kind of form Liverpool is in, I could literally see them go in and play in all these next 9 games and taking the title.
Yeah, for sure, because this Liverpool side is running a racket right now. City did run their racket, but it's a matter of reaching the finish line, and it's a matter of having the gas to push on, and even the nos or the extra boost for City. I think right now we talk about that in the last episode where Mane and Salah are literally your nos, but we also talk about the top end acceleration from the likes of Jota and Diaz and Firmino.
And you saw it in this game.
Exactly, that shows you the depth and how the types of engines that inside this Liverpool.
Would it be safe to say Liverpool right now has probably the best top 5 forwards compared to all the other teams?
Yeah, especially because going in and out of the teams, and they have scorers that get the goals and do it on a consistent basis. City have the goal scorers, but like I was mentioning before, they don't have that talisman to go and get those 20-odd goals or stand up in games like in the Palace game to go and take the points.
Don't worry, Haaland coming in next year, so all that will be
exactly. But would that be enough for him to? Would this side push on and claim it? I believe they could, because given the depth and given that they've been here before.
Exactly, that's what I was now going to say.
They are not a side that does not know how to handle or manage this situation, because they would look at it as those were the points we could have dropped and we dropped. So now we have no other drop points. Whereas Liverpool are still on a run, and it could be seen that they possibly might be able to
they have a momentum, but like you said, the momentum could drop at a certain point in time.
So like we say, it could come down straight down to the last game, and like we say, Manchester City will be playing Aston Villa on that last day, and Gerrard and Coutinho will be playing their hearts out for Liverpool. And it all comes straight back down to a very challenging and a very top-end race to the title this season.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something that every football fan loves to see, a title race literally going down to the last day. So we have some Premier League action this week, but more so FA Cup action. We have Middlesbrough versus Chelsea, Crystal Palace versus Everton, and on Sunday we have Manchester City versus Southampton, and Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool. So the quarterfinals of the FA Cup is taking full spotlight this weekend. Also, we can't forget about it, El Clasico, Sunday, 4 p.m.
Yeah.
I know you said Barcelona is taking it, a 3-2 victory.
3-2 victory. I'll stick with that. I think that given that, you know, Barcelona winning the game earlier today, scoring 2 goals, getting past Galatasaray, Pedri with a wonderful goal again. What a player he is for just 19 years of age. The things that he's doing, if you make you think that Iniesta just transferred his talent onto the But I mean, Barca playing a different type of football than they would have been playing previously. So for this Real side to go up and face them, I know their legs are heavy right now, coming off of a solid run, given the Champions League, given the other competitions that they're in. But I think that give and take, they wouldn't mind if they lose it or not, but they will fight. They would fight for it, and Barca would be made to fight for it with that 3. But I think that it would end up a high-scoring Clasico and an exciting one. So don't miss out. Everybody tune in.
Definitely.
Big game.
So big game on Sunday. So we're going to be talking definitely about that game and more games on our next broadcast up on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Don't forget, we want to hear from you. Follow us on social media, Football 101 on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. And we have that WhatsApp number. Send us your voice notes, send us your messages. Let us know what you think, if we're talking trash, if we actually making some sort of sense.
Yeah, let us know. The feedback is always welcome.
Definitely. So this has been the end of Football 101 for tonight. Check us back out Tuesday at 9 p.m. See you then, guys.